Tijd voor een wedstrijd tussen Polen en Engeland. Allereerst de man die vorig jaar vriend en vijand verbaasde door zich te laten kronen tot Windmill World Master. Ladies and gentlemen, the Polish Eagle, Krzysztof Ratajski! En dan zijn tegenstander, viervoudig majorwinnaar, de wereldkampioen van 2014 uit Engeland, de Bullet, Stephen Bunting!
Well, in the aftermath of his 6-0 win over Michael Smith yesterday, Stephen Bunting described his performance as probably the best he's ever played. And he truly believes he is playing better than he has ever done in his life. Now, having had a chance to reflect on that overnight, it's unlikely, I think, that he'll have changed his mind. Averaging, as he did, 106.09, winning 3 legs in 12 darts, and even allowing himself the pleasure of 4 missed match darts in the last leg as well before finishing things off. If he goes anywhere near those sorts of levels today, I think Krzysztof Ratajski could be in for a very testing encounter indeed. Although the Polish #1 has this weekend seen off 2 of the fastest players in the sport in the shape of Ricky Evans and yesterday Jelle Clausen. Dan Dawson alongside me, Rob Malarkey, for our 5th match of the afternoon session. Could be all perfectly set up here this weekend for Stephen Bunting, couldn't it?
It could. And you are right, he believes he's playing better than he's ever played, and that's big talk for a former world champion and a 2-time world master, taking on the reigning world master in Krzysztof Ratajski. He went 2-0 down to Jelle Clausen and reeled off 6 legs to win it 6-2. Bunting obviously won 6-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg, Krzysztof to throw first. Game on!
But something's got to give. Bunting's only lost 1 leg all weekend because he beat Tobias Muller 6-1 in comfortable fashion in the opening round. Whereas Krzysztof, a brace of 6-2 wins, he's only lost the 4 legs this weekend. Both of them coming through qualifiers. It was the Eastern European one for Krzysztof and the UK qualifier for Stephen Bunting. So we are guaranteed another unseeded player in the quarterfinals, along with Steve Lennon, who's set to face Mensur Suljovic for a spot in the semis tonight.
You could suggest as well, Dan, that this performance from Bunting, or the performance we saw yesterday from Bunting, had been coming because I think he's been showing signs of life of late. 3 quarterfinals and a semi-final in his last 7 events in the Players' Championship Series.
Yeah, it's curious, really. Bunting has been getting results, even though the stats aren't wildly brilliant in his favour. When you look at these performances on the Players' Championship Series, he has been, as you say, getting results and going deep into tournaments and looking like he might win one. And he is hitting a lot of 180s. But he's not exactly tearing it up. He's not like in the top 10 in the averages or anything like that. You know, he's down at 42 and only averaging about 92.5 over 34 games. Now, it's all right, but it's not right up there. It's all about doing the right thing at the right time, this game, though. And it's very rarely the right thing at any time to hit 2 single ones.
With the Polish Eagle ready to soar. Looking at tops for the opener.
80. Stephen, you require 99.
It's a 3-dart checkout, this. Top stops. That was the route.
59.
But it was not executed.
Stop, you require 40. Game shot on the first leg. Christoph Ratajski.
Well, Bunting said that he's quite nervous when he was taking on the Black Wolf, Tobias Muller, in the opening round, because he never met him before. He didn't know him from Adam. Never gone up against him in professional darts. And some players, it does make them a bit anxious. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how they're going to behave. They don't know what routes they're going to go. I mean, it shouldn't matter, but it does to some players. Maximum for Christoph Ratajski. Bunting has not come up against Christoph Ratajski before, but he will know all about it.
Yes,
you have to have been living under a rock for the last couple of years not to know what Christoph's about.
Well, I think he may have had half an eye on Ratajski's match yesterday, when I think he was a little bit of an irritant for Jelle Klaassen at times. There was that episode early on when Ratajski seemed to take an age to come to the hockey, and then it's almost like it looked as though he didn't realise it was his turn to throw first.
Yes, well, that
Klaassen was furious behind him.
Yeah, and I think he was taking a little bit of extra time.
I do.
In that match, Christoph Ratajski, which he's completely entitled to do, and he won 6 legs on the spin, so it worked.
And again, beating a very, well, arguably the quickest player on the planet, Ricky Evans, in round 1 as well. Similar finishing stats for Ratajski over the course of his first 2 matches this weekend. 6 from 14 in both so far. The average was stepped up against Klaassen yesterday. Ratajski, a man who won a UK Open qualifier this year, reached the quarterfinals of 2 others. He's already qualified for Gibraltar and Copenhagen as well. Made the final and the semi-final on the Challenge Tour as well this year.
Game shot, second leg.
As Bunting levels things up. Earnings for Ratajski this year are, including this, given he's guaranteed £3,000, just over £26,000. So he's making hay while the sun shines. He's managing his schedule very well indeed, I think.
Well, he's qualified for the next 3 Euro Tours, hasn't he, through the Eastern European qualifier, so that's guaranteed more money on his order of merit. But having been drawn against Danny Noppert, a man who he's never beaten in professional darts in the last 2 Euro Tours that he's played, and gone out in round 1 with displays that weren't of the calibre that we expect from Christoph based on his performances last year, this is a big opportunity against a fellow unseeded player to go into the final session, get some money on that European Order of Merit list, and book his place for the European Championship. He was unfortunate, Christoph, because he was one of the most dangerous players in the Euro Tour last year, and he got drawn the first round of the Euros against Peter Wright, who was, well, him and Van Gerwen, 2 best players by some distance on the Euro circuit last year.
87.
And the money is handy as well, because he has to do a heck of a lot of travelling compared to most. So that will all help. And that will help Steve Bunting as well. 240 on the Ratajski throw. First Polish player to win a major televised title, thrashing Mark McGeaney 6-1 to claim the Winmore World Masters last September. One of the most prestigious titles on the BDO.
Yeah, and encouraging signs from Christoph this weekend ahead of the World Cup of Darts, where he'll partner the first ever Polish tour card holder, Fetus Karnik.
His best performance on the European Tour last year was in this tournament when it was staged in Maastricht. He beat Steve Lennon 6-0, Jelle Klaassen and Christian Kist,
16.
before losing to Peter Wright in the quarterfinals. Didn't go beyond the second round of any of the other 10 events he played in.
Third leg, Christoph Ratajski.
And so far so good for Christoph Ratajski. Just, as he so often does, just quietly and effectively going about his business here.
Yeah, Christoph currently averaging 97, because that's what Christoph does normally.
16.
And he was doing that all the way through the UK Open qualifiers. That's why he had so much success there. Winning one of them, of course. Corey Cadby, another first-time winner during those events.
99.
Gurney or King. Darryl Gurney or Mervyn King awaits the winner of this one. Those two will be on stage at the conclusion of this match.
One random 40.
But at the minute, tricky to call who that's going to be.
Well,
he's certainly making Bunting work hard here.
One random 40.
Обнаружен подозрительный файл.
58. Stevie, you require 161.
At least he made sure he left himself a finish, Christoph, by moving over to the 18th. He's going to get a look at the 164. I want to recall whether Christoph, I think Christoph will start in the treble 20. He's not a guy who goes for two treble 19s, or is he? No, he's not.
One random 40. You require
Could be the first break of throw, unless Bunting sees off the 71. That's a great dart, leaves double 16.
Game showing the fourth leg.
Yeah, Bunting celebrating that one a little bit more vociferously, given what was at stake. He was well aware that Ratajski was handily placed to snatch that one, but it is two apiece, and a very different sort of encounter for Stephen Bunting. This one, he was 4-0 up in the blink of an eye yesterday. He was stopped in his tracks late on. He, like I say, had the opportunity to miss 4 match darts before he sealed the deal in the 6th and final leg against Michael Smith, who I assume is either on his way back home or already back home, resting up ahead of the trip to the O2 Arena this week.
Yes, it's fair to say he won't be taking any happy memories from Zwolle with him for the Premier League finals night on Thursday, when he takes on his mentor Gary Anderson in the semi-finals, with a potential final against the world champion Rob Cross and the world number 1 Michael van Gerwen to come, and what may well be the biggest night of Michael Smith's darting career so far.
16.
He'll be doing all he can to ensure that he's feeling as close to 100% as he can for that one. It's a huge, huge occasion. Vast crowd, big prize money. Stephen Bunting here, suddenly finding his range and his rhythm, and looks the firm favourite to secure this break of throw.
Yeah, well, 2 180s in this leg
90.
on the Ratajski throw.
Stephen, you require 82.
Bullseye the target with the first dart. Double 16. Double 8.
66.
This time, he
Christoph,
can't
you
find
require
it.
144.
Well, Christoph has one chance here, but he's got no chance now.
42. Stephen, you require 16.
Not there yet, though.
12.
And he comes inside for double 2, and Ratajski returns again. Well, Ruster said 112, but it says 102 on the scoreboard. And Christoph did go for 112.
Stephen, you require 4.
Yeah, it said 112 on the scoreboard there as well. Well, it matters not. Because the madhouse comes to Bunting's aid. It is the first break of throw in this one. A little bit scrappy after a leg where he fired in 2 180s, but the bullet has the advantage.
Yeah, it was 102 that he needed. He was on 144 and then scored 42. So that could have been a slight issue.
Well, it is not a vast deal of differences there between 102. He needed 1 treble. He got the treble. He got his choice of double. He went for double 16, but he missed it. So I don't think there's any harm been done by it. But if you are wondering what would have happened if he pinned it, it's what the ref calls. So if he says you need 112, you need 112. And if you take it out when the ref's told you to take it out, you get the leg. Doesn't matter if you've won a leg of 511 or 491.
You do as Russ Bray tells you.
Yeah. I mean,
which is solid advice anyway.
Yeah, just in general.
$127.
Christoph started on the 20s, stayed on the 20s, who's in danger of leaving a bogey number had he hit 2 trebles, but Bunting 2 visits from here to open up a 2-leg advantage.
102.
And that will do very, very nicely to leave himself double top. The bullet messed around on doubles in the previous leg, but he built up such a lead it did not matter.
59.
It may be similar here.
Yeah, when Ratajski is getting chances, he's doing okay. 2 from 3 so far, but Stephen Bunting just stepping it up a little bit here.
Game on.
Well, weirdly, Ratajski is still marginally ahead on the averages, but he is trailing in the bullet's wake, and part of it is because in the first 4 legs, as Christoph fires in 180 number 3, Christoph was right there ready to go out when Bunting held his throw, taking out checkouts of 78 and 71. Obviously that keeps his average high, whereas the bullet was a little bit distant, certainly in one of those legs. It's all about finishing under pressure, and Bunting has been doing that, and it's confidence. When he was in the doldrums and going down the pub and losing to guys in the pub, he was saying, I was smashing them all over the board and then I could not hit a double. I just could not do it. It felt like a mental block. He was literally in tears. There you see. Bunting, 10 points in the first 9, but overall lower than Ratajski. And it has been right the way through this game. Ratajski was actually averaging about 101 4 legs into this game. He's been hovering around at that sort of Christoph Ratajski level, but Bunting is finding a way to beat him.
95.
At the minute, at any rate.
Yeah, it's been a healthy first 9 for Ratajski in this leg as he looks to hold throw to trim the gap to 4-3.
Single 18. 92. Yeah, no need to go for the bullseye in that situation.
The stop you required 32.
Well, 2 from 3 so far. Make that 3 from 4.
Christoph
Ratajski.
Leg, Stephen the throw first. Game on.
Bunting just needs to keep Ratajski at arm's length here.
Well, the vast majority of those misses all came in that one leg, where Bunting managed to get the break of throw that has put him as the favourite in this one, and just 2 strong holes of throw should be enough for Bunting to get over the line. But it's easier said than done against a man who is a reigning champion in the BDO and has been so dangerous on the European Tour over the last year and a bit. But that is a 4th maximum for Stephen Bunting. He's been hitting a lot of these this year.
Yeah, Stephen Bunting just wiping his forehead just a few moments ago, just shaking his shirt. I assume it's quite warm on stage. You've been out there.
It's pretty warm. I mean, it's not Gratz levels of warm, which was
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a real sweat box. But you've got a very high ceiling here, it's a big aircraft hangar type building. I think that just means it's a little bit fresher than perhaps some of the other venues that we've had on the European Tour. 86 left after 9 for Stephen Bunting. World-class leg of darts. We said 2 strong hole to throw is what he needs, and he's got 2 visits here. No need to go for the bullseye. He will look at the 18 segment. Double 4.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah,
very, very good.
All coming together here for Stephen Bunting now.
9th leg, Christoph to throw first.
Well aware that he's not there yet, but he's certainly very, very close indeed.
Well, Stephen Bunting, he has been knocking on the door. Semi-final in Wigan on the last Pro Tour weekend in the Players' Championship Series. You mentioned those 3 quarter-finals in Players' Championship events. 177 for Bunting to go with the 4 maximums he's hit. But in terms of big stage darts, we've not really seen Stephen Bunting trouble in the latter end of tournaments for a while.
140.
Did make a quarter-final in Hamburg last year, the European Darts match play, as he looks to fill this up. For a big 180 and a 6th perfect dart in this leg, and the tricky treble 19 has already been hit. Stephen Bunting, a man with 1 perfect leg in his darting career, is 3 darts away from doubling his tally.
You require 144.
Dare we believe? Well, you can believe all you like, because it's on hold once again.
28.
And after, well,
Christoph, you require 164.
after 6 perfect darts, Bunting scores 28. And if Ratajski takes this out, it would be one heck of a steal, but he won't.
Well, he's not even set the shot up particularly well. I mean, 116 is gettable. Very gettable now. Double top. And Bunting is in the quarter-finals of a European Tour event for the first time in the best part of a year. He averaged 106 yesterday, it's 100 today. The bullet is back and the bullet is firing.
In your own time, Stephen. I know if you chuck 100 averages, you can pretty much do what you want here, but we're working to a schedule, man. Congratulations, Stephen. 100 average. You've seen off a world master, the reigning world master. I know you hadn't played him before, but you knew how dangerous Christoph is.
Of course, yeah, and I've said many times before, I'm a massive BDO fan. It's where I come from, and I watched the Win My World Masters. I'm not silly. I know how good Christoph is, and if I went on my game tonight, he'd have beat me, and he beat my friend Ricky. So a bit of revenge for Ricky, and I'm just glad to be into the quarterfinals now.
You know what it takes to go and win tournaments. When you put in back-to-back ton-plus averages, 106 yesterday, 100 today, do you feel, you get a feeling that it's one of these weekends, this could just carry on?
Definitely, yeah. Like I said yesterday, I've been putting the work in. I'm feeling really good, feel like I'm playing better than I've ever played in my life, and I think confidence is a massive thing. If you can come into a tournament and believe that you can win it, you can.
Well, you genuinely could. Stephen Bunting, the Bullet, 2-time world master, former world champion, through to the quarterfinals. He will take on the winner of our next game here in Zwolle. It is the King, Mervyn King, versus Super Chin, Daryl Gurney.